Showtime.
Let's go.
All right. What's up, family? Thank y'all again for tuning in to Build the City, the podcast. And today, I got somebody in the city that's famous, ladies and gentlemen. Just been on The Voice. He is a good friend of mine, man. Our daughters are actually born on the same
So
day.
crazy, bro.
Can't wait to talk about that. We got Najee in the building. What's up, bro? How
What's
you doing?
good, bro? What's good?
Not much, man. So glad to have you in the city. Thank you for agreeing to come pull up on me,
Of course,
man.
man.
But before we kind of like jump into like this full conversation, I introduced you as Najee.
Yes.
Like that. That's because I know you. You my brother. You my friend. But that's not the name you go by.
Nope. My stage name is JANDAN.
Yes, JANDAN. Can you just like before we just jump into all of this, can you tell the people where that name come from
Yeah.
and why you chose to go that route?
If anybody knows me, I'm a wild card, but I'm still very conservative.
Yeah.
I'm still very thoughtful. I'm still very mindful of everybody, mindful, demure.
Yeah. I love it.
Of everybody around me. And I just got to a point, I just turned 30, and I wanted something to like separate that version of myself because I don't want it to be like there's something wrong with that version. So I could be more free and more creative and be out of the box. A lot of artists have stage names, and it's definitely separate of who we are as the person. But it's something simple. My name backwards, EEJAN. Jan, and then the first three of my last name, Daniel's Dan.
Wow.
JANDAN. So it's nothing super deep, but it's giving me permission to like really go all the way creatively, and it's obviously working.
Word, bro. I love this. Like, dude, I didn't know I was gonna ask you this. Like, I gotta ask you, what's the difference between Najee and JANDAN?
Najee's a dad.
Wow.
Najee is the chef.
Yeah.
Najee is the worship leader. Najee is who, like you said, who you know. But JANDAN is something new. This is like a new thing. I'm doing things that I've never done before that I never would have had. I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, you say it.
Oh, I don't know if I would have had the balls.
Yeah, say it. Talk.
Balls to do it. And I'm just like, I'm doing it scared, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the outcome is gonna be, but it's really, really just trusting God for real.
Yeah.
Like, and
No, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I love seeing this creative expression of who you are. Like by far, I'm not just saying this because you're on the pod. But you are by far one of the most gifted people I know.
Man.
But it's the way you carry yourself too. Like you're very humble about it. Like I was just telling one of my homeboys, I was like, if there's anybody who could really flex, it's you. But you choose not to in the way that you have carry yourself. Even just my time of knowing you. But I do want to go down this creative journey of JANDAN.
For sure.
Just before this episode aired, you just blind auditions of The Voice. Like, can you just talk about like that experience and what it was like?
It was crazy. So I auditioned for The Voice years ago when I was on staff with you.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like the craziest year of my life. Like I ended up having to have surgery on my voice.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to go. Then my dad got into a huge car accident. So it was just like a weird time. And obviously the time wasn't right, but I had made it to go to California to start my blind audition process. But, I couldn't sing. I had to go to rehab to talk again. You remember you coming to my house. I had to write on the board.
Facts.
And to talk to people. It was a very awful experience. And I was like 23.
Yeah.
I had been working in church for 8 years in total.
Yeah.
Full-time staff. And the church I was working for at the time, I literally just went on like a 30-day fast. And because I'm like I had everything I needed. Like I'm married. I just found out my wife was pregnant. I'm making, a decent money. Like my place is beautiful. I love it.
Wow.
But something just didn't feel right. Like it was like a time being up.
Yeah.
And I've always like feared staying somewhere too long or too little.
Yeah.
But this was like shaking me, and it was so against the way I think. I'm like, why do I feel this way? So I fasted for 30 days. I was getting up at 6 a.m. in the snow in Toledo.
Oh yeah.
to go to this prayer at Marvin Winans church.
Wow.
And he wasn't even facilitating the prayer. Someone else was, but she was dynamic. But what ended up happening, I feel like God was just like, you got to resign today. So I
Mm.
put my
Yeah.
resignation. I had the meeting with them. They asked me to stay a little longer, and then 3 days later, I got an email from The Voice, from the same
Wow.
producer that hit me, that I was working with. And I didn't even share this on the show. This is
Yeah.
the crazy part. It was so much to talk about, so little time
Yeah.
when you're on the show. But um, and I was just like, why not? So I did the virtual call with them about 3 days after the email, and then now I just made it past my blind audition.
Wow, man. Dude, so talk about that moment like leading up. Like, by the way, if you haven't checked it out, I'm actually go put it before this clip. Cause y'all gotta hear my brother. He killed Brandy, bro. Almost doesn't count. I felt like Snoop singing looking at that TV. But bro, just talk about that moment, like the cheers are turned,
Woo!
the nerves, like
It's the
yeah,
nerves
yeah.
for me
He fast.
because I, as you know, I've
Yeah.
sung in front of thousands.
Facts.
I've sang in front of 10 people.
Yeah.
Um, so I even though I still get nervous, I don't really, it doesn't really cripple me like from singing. But when I got on that stage, bro, it was like, mind you, we rehearsed for a month,
Wow.
whole entire month. We're going over our song, and it taught me just like how to really put some work into something.
Mm,
I've never, for a 90-second performance, I've never done that for a
yeah.
30-second
Wow.
30-minute
Right.
performance. So do all that. I'm killing it in the back.
Yeah.
I get on that stage, boy, my knees is shaking, boy. I am literally, my voice is shaky.
Wow.
Not that I didn't sound decent,
Yeah.
but if anybody knows me, they know I can sing
Fast way. Hey,
I
we
can
like
sing
that.
way better than that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I think it was amazing to experience that moment when the two chairs turned. But for
Yeah.
some reason you would think like, I'm like, yeah, but I was really like, I felt like I was sucking at the time.
Wow.
And you can ask my wife. I
Yeah.
walked off the stage like, dang. And they're like, what is wrong with you? You just got two chair turns.
Right.
But I think that's a part of the evolution of, Najee from JANDAN, and
Dang,
just
right.
just like letting, obviously it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen,
Mm.
but it happened the way it was supposed to
Supposed to
happen.
happen, right.
And I'm yielding a positive result. So there's nothing
Mm.
else to think about.
Yeah.
So I've gone through that process now that I'm moving forward.
Mm.
But it was like I was petrified the entire time.
Bro, did that affirm like the name change even the more once they
Yeah.
turn the chairs around?
Absolutely. It definitely did. Like even during the whole process, we have to do interviews
Yeah.
and they're not playing. They're
Wow.
like, first of I did the name change not too long before I went on the show. So they would be like, Jan, and I'm just sitting there like, they call you. Where's Jan? I'm like, oh, me. Oh, yeah. So I'm used to it now. But they don't play. They're not referring to
Wow.
me as Najee. They're Jandan, are you ready to take the picture? Jandan.
Wow.
So it's been really, really cool to experience and to be respected in that
Yeah.
without, like, obviously, you got your friends and then
Right.
people are
Yeah.
clowning you. I done got like over 50 texts. Who the heck? But somebody was like, what is a Jandan? But and when I go there, it's just like they 100%.
Wow.
It's not even a question. Bet that's dope, JANDAN.
Yeah.
You're a fire artist.
Dude, I gotta share it like when we was sitting in the living room, tuned in,
Mm-hmm.
KK in the kitchen, holding baby girl, and you
I
come
know
on the
KK ass on this.
TV. You come on the TV. I'm yelling in the house. Yo, he on TV. He on. And it get to my name is Jan Dad. KK was like, now when did he change his name?
I
But
know she got
yeah,
something
bro,
to say.
but it was the moment of bro watching my whole family cheer for you.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about, we yelling at the TV. Like, bro, I'm like, boy, you better sing. KK smiling ear to ear. The
It's really
boys like,
crazy.
we know him.
Oh,
You know what I'm
they knew
saying?
me that day.
Yeah, they knew you that day. Like we came to the church. Like, but it just was so dope. And I text you this, like, bro, that was real inspiration
Man.
to see somebody who like I know, you know what I'm saying, been in them trenches together.
Yes, bro.
Like the good times and like at a period it was real hard at some points. And we just talking and I'm like just seeing you up there like doing it afraid.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Doing it past the nerves. And so, bro, I just like want to continue to commend you, bro. Keep walking into that.
Appreciate
Because
that,
you
man.
are, bro, you're inspiring so many of us.
Man.
But dude, I want to like keep pulling like these layers back,
Yeah.
because like everybody see the voice Najee
Hmm.
now, and I know them DMs, everybody in there, everybody that's my friend, you know what I'm saying?
I almost shared a story, but they would know who I'm talking about.
But everybody like cheering you on,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But what it's been like, do you a new dad?
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you at the height of it, newly married, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, and now you got this added level of like
It's crazy,
stardom. Like,
bro.
yeah.
It's really crazy. It's just like I was just talking to a friend. I was like, I got to make a new list.
Mm,
God has done give. He's given me everything I've asked for,
wow.
and even though my journey on The Voice has just begun, like I feel it in my bones. Like
Mm,
it's my time.
yeah.
Um, and I'm understanding the way God blesses differently,
Mm,
because He gives you what you ask for, but He sometimes puts you at a starting point of
mm,
it, and you gotta like make sure that you grow the thing. You can
right.
lose it, or it can flourish,
Mm,
and that's what I've been really. Even before I got married, I had a situation where someone was like, this female was like, God told me that you're my husband. And I'm just like, but he ain't tell me. Like, and I'm adamant. I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't even know you. Like,
Mm,
and you talk about I'm your husband. Like,
wow.
so, but for the first time in my life,
Mm,
I sat down and I started to pray for my wife. And I've never done
yeah.
that before. And I think it's because I wasn't ready.
Mm,
But I really, and it was getting, for me, it was getting a little spooky to the point to where I was just like, this is kind of like my mama. I was like my mom. My mom think everything demonic.
yeah.
I'm like, it was like, this is counterfeit. This don't feel right. Let me
Mm,
study and reaffirm how marriage is supposed to happen.
yeah.
And the Bible is like, he that findeth a
Find
wife,
right.
findeth a.
Right.
So I'm just like, now I'm praying. And I even dropped a song on
Mm,
Instagram, writing about he that find a wife.
mm,
And I set it up, and that's what I asked for.
yeah.
And then it ended up being somebody I was friends with for
Wow.
years. We were in a writing group. We still in a writing group
Yeah.
together. She does Christian music. She used to go to our rival church.
Yeah.
We more copacetic now, but back in the day,
Yeah.
it was what they doing
Yeah.
versus what we doing.
Mm,
Nah, but yeah. And the crazy thing, Haley,
mm,
she was like, "That's your wife."
wow.
And if y'all don't know, me and Corbin worked at a really
Yeah.
white church. We
Yeah.
was like the only two black people in the 300-mile radius.
I love
I'm joking. There was a little bit more. There
yeah.
was like two more. But my wife also worked at a predominantly white
Right,
church. She's
yeah.
mixed, however. But Haley was like, "Oh, I seen this girl at the." I was just like, "You just trying to put the two black people at the white church together." And the crazy thing is, she's my wife now, and Haley said it all those
Wow.
years ago.
It's so amazing.
So it was just one moment. It was right before I was about to move. I moved very like sporadically. Like
Mm,
I was just like I prayed. I had quit. I quit the job that I was at. Resigned
yeah.
on the job I was at. I was like, I'm never doing church again.
Mm,
I was praying. I ended up getting COVID real bad and
wow.
having this like amazing God experience. Called a homie. Ended up in Ohio in 2 months.
Wow.
Right after that.
Wow.
So I didn't tell many people, and then I finally told her on this last trip I did with Midway Music.
Yeah.
Um, and we're singing and we're doing the rest on us, and I've never experienced this before, bro.
Mm,
I'm singing, and I look at her, and it's like, you know how in the cartoons, like your eyes just like bulge out into hearts.
yeah.
It was like in that moment, it was like, oh, I love her,
Wow.
and I heard God say that that's my wife.
Wow.
And I didn't tell her for months after. I was just like, I don't know. It just never happened to me. I feel like that creep that be talking about, like I be talking about people who be like, God told me. I talk
Yeah.
about y'all, okay? No. And I felt like that weird,
Mm,
super spiritual,
yeah.
but it was just like, it was undeniable. Like I
Wow.
could not. So I didn't tell her. I moved to Toledo. She was very upset. And I'm just like, girl, why you so upset? I know we friends, but
Yeah.
why you so upset? This is a little more upset than you should be.
Mm,
And then I found out she was feeling me too, and then and that's how we got together.
yeah.
But God put you at the start of something, and you gotta
Yes.
you gotta either let it grow or it's gonna die if you don't
Yeah.
nourish it. So I have a child.
Yeah, bro. That is now listen, I was ecstatic watching you get married. But I'm like, why I got a lot of kids.
Yes, bro. What you just had number 5?
Number five. But I know how much like fatherhood changes you.
Yes.
Um, and when I found out you was having a baby, I literally said, KK, I can't wait to see this new version of Najee.
Yeah, man.
Cause I know it just changes you. It just I don't know, it's like it just kick in and just like this, I don't know. You just turn you
Bro,
morph into something different.
I don't care about nothing.
Yeah.
Like I'm on TV, I'm
Yeah.
like getting opportunities and I'm like, dang, I want to be with my
That
baby.
right.
Um I'm in like it was like, ugh, I
Yeah.
love this job.
Yeah. And it's like it's dope watching you, like, and too, just because I know your family dynamic,
Mhm.
watching, I know your siblings like look up to you, and you just like, bro, you're doing it. You
It's
know what I'm saying?
crazy.
You're leading them, and they getting to see a dope example. You know what I'm saying? Of like you you doing that. But I do want like this question. I've been when I knew I was going to be sitting down talking to you. This question just keep coming to mind. And I got to ask you
Yeah.
this: for a person who feels like called
Mhm.
to not just use their gift in the four walls of the church, but they feel bound, because that's really the word. They
Yeah.
feel bound to, I can't use my gift outside because
Yeah.
we just only been taught to just use it on the inside.
Yeah.
Like, how would you encourage that person to step out and do both? Like, you
Yeah.
can use your gift to do both.
I think Kier put out an album
Mm,
as an EP long time ago, and I had like an insert from like Joel Osteen,
mm,
and he was like, "We need believers in the
mm,
doctor's office. We need believers in the
mm,
government. We need believers here, there,
mm.
there." And I think the common misconception is for us to be in the four walls of the church and to use what God has given us only for the church when God has He's for the world.
Right.
So I think because of that, the mindset that a lot of Christians
Mm,
have had, not everyone, but a
right.
lot of Christians have had, um, we're seeing the result of that in the
Mm,
world.
right.
Like people, if you had someone who had the values of a Christian
Mm,
in some of these high places, then we wouldn't see
mm,
some of the things happening because it would be funneling through the morality of
right.
Christ.
Mm,
But we don't because
mm,
we condemned people
right. Wow.
for
Wow.
going outside of the church. Like one of the things, like even on The Voice,
Mm,
um, it's crazy because I don't get to talk about my faith
yeah.
or me working for the church a lot because that's just not the way.
Right.
That's not what they asked me.
Right.
But I'm having Bible studies.
Wow.
Um, I'm I'm helping people understand the scripture
Wow.
well. The last church I was at was very into like studying the Bible
Yeah.
and the theology of the
Mm,
Bible. A lot of them like went to school for theology. So it was a great environment for me to learn so much more. And you realize how much people like really don't know, who think they
mm,
know. And you have opportunity now to come into these spaces. The Voice is pretty much a cast of church hurt folks.
wow.
Seriously. Like
Well, I seen you post a clip
mhm.
of like it was like y'all was in a circle having like a worship moment
Yeah,
and like
man. By the
outside.
pool.
Wow.
For the first few Sundays we were doing that.
Mm,
And it was just amazing to hear and then to talk to these people. And I'm gonna talk to somebody
right.
and get to the real. But a lot of them are just church hurt and now they're trying to use their gifts or do it somewhere else because they
Mm,
were rejected or whatever the case is.
mm,
But at the end of the day, you'll never reach them in the church.
right.
It's because they're not going.
Wow.
And there's such a huge world of people who
Mm,
there was one other time we were backstage singing. Shout out to Jake,
wow.
amazing country singer. Jake,
Yeah.
you're crazy. But we were backstage and he was playing the guitar, and we even had some people who weren't particularly believers, and they were like,
Mm,
"This, I don't know. I feel like crying.
wow.
I think I want to go to church." And it's
Wow.
just simple things. You can't if you're not going out, you're not gonna have that
Wow.
opportunity to because I've been in LA and been in Cali, and they're
Mm,
throwing everything at me. They're
yeah.
like, I'm getting my makeup done one time. Lady comes up to me. I was just reading some cards about you. And they're bold about what they
Right.
believe in, and
Mm.
they take it everywhere they go. I'm just like, that's what we should do
Right.
instead of, taking up this defensive position against people. So my encouragement to get to your
Yeah.
question is to do what you feel set up in your heart.
Mm.
Within that 30 days I was fasting, one of the things that the lady was saying is that when you're in a job that you love,
Mm.
whether you're called to be a janitor or whether you're called to be a movie star,
Yeah.
it should bring something to that environment that is beneficial to everybody.
Wow.
Even like teaching, you
Mm.
have a teacher. Have them teachers that nobody like because they hate their job. They just doing it because they smart and got the degree,
Right.
but they didn't make the right decision. And you got the
Mm.
teacher who loves it, and that teacher impacts
Wow.
the children in a different way. And it's the
Mm.
same thing with the things that we do. Like if
Yeah.
that's not where our heart is, then we're just two things. We're preventing somebody from being in that position that has, the heart for it,
Right.
and we're taking up space,
Mm.
and we're missing from where we should be lighting up the room
Right.
because that's what we truly want to do. So like for me, I became yes, I wasn't chasing like the big salary, but I'm like I wanted a family, wanted children. I'm like
Mm.
I need money,
Right.
and then I let it all go, bro,
Mm.
to chase what I actually love to do. I really came to terms with it.
Mm.
And I was like thinking of like, what do I want my baby girl to experience
Wow.
in the world? And I'm like, I don't want her to have the anxieties I had
Mm.
trying to figure out and maneuver outside of because things are difficult. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, if I want her to experience it, I got to do it myself
Mm.
first. So that was really my motivation.
Yeah.
And that's my encouragement. Do it. Do it. Leave behind the thing that you
Mm.
think that you need
Yeah.
to open your hands to really get what is for you.
No, I love it because this whole podcast is like centered around just light going in the midst of darkness.
Hmm.
Like, and you just being who you are and shining the light of Christ. And I'm being honest, like fully agree with that. That whether you work at a church or you a janitor, you just carry the light wherever you go.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be constrained to these four walls. And so, like watching you on that stage, like as KK, I got excited because of that too. Because
Yeah.
I know what your foundation is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like underneath all, like the JANDAN, all of that, like Najee love the Lord, bro.
I
Like,
do.
but I'm like, if there's a person who is not going to go in and beat them over the head, it is you.
Yeah.
Like you, like dude, this one thing that I also love about you. You know how to go in and build a relationship with people. Like just anybody, dude. You'll talk to anybody, bro. And but that stuff work because, like you said, like people pour their hearts out, and you're
They do.
able to kind of maneuver in that. We'll go another layer back. Like one of the things that you are, like you are a very humble person. Like I just told you this. Like if one person who could pop they ish, like it's you, but you choose not to. You know what I'm saying? Like what is that, and where did that come from?
Well, I grew up very differently.
Yeah,
Like my mom was signed. My uncle was a Grammy award winning songwriter. I'm
yeah.
in studio session with celebrities
Wow.
and I'm experiencing all these things
Mm.
and I'm watching as a child. And on top of that, I had a gift to
Mm.
sing and simply because I love to do it, not to be boastful or sing better than anybody else. I just love to do it. Like
Yeah.
you ask my mom, and you can. I hear "shut up" all the time.
Mm.
Shut up. I'm staying at my mom's house now,
Yeah.
um, and she just recently said "shut up." I was singing. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, oh, this feels nostalgic.
Yeah.
But people, I would see people like it's not even about them being jealous of me. I would see
Yeah.
people shrink.
Mm.
Um, and I don't like to see somebody shrunk. Like if you know me, I'm all of me.
Yeah.
And I want you to feel comfortable to be all of you. So
Mm.
I would see people shrink all the time. There was a particular incident. I was singing at a church and I had just started like leading worship for the first time at the youth team.
Mm.
And they called a meeting and half of the meeting was about me.
Mm.
The parents are upset
Wow.
with me about leading and singing. And I'm just like, so I think something kind of like triggered in me where at first it was I put an immense effort of disarming anybody's reason to shrink
Mm.
in my
Mm.
presence,
Mm.
which in for a little bit it was to my detriment because now I'm dimming
My life.
myself
Yeah. Right.
for the sake of it. Now instead I like to get to know someone and
Mm.
pull out what
Wow. Wow.
I see is good in them.
Mm.
Not to say that what I see is end all be all, but I believe that God has given me a gift to
Yeah.
see the good in people beyond what the average person sees,
Mm,
and I reach for that in them. And when a lot of people are just waiting for a hand to be extended to them so they can
mm,
pull themselves out, and I love to do that.
yeah.
So I don't I never feel like I feel like everything is subjective. Like a
Mm,
gift is not, it doesn't put me above anybody.
right.
Like I know some people who could do math
Mm.
and quantum theory in their head,
Yeah.
but because I sing, I think I'm better than you.
Mm,
Like
right.
I experienced that in Atlanta coming
Yeah.
up. Like I would walk into a room, nobody would say a word to me. I'm like trying to be friendly, my friendly self,
Yeah.
and they're, oh, I said Diddy. They're like, hey. And then I would sing, and they're like, "Oh,
Oh,
bro."
wow.
I'm like, "Why can't you be nice to me before you know
Yeah.
I could sing?" So that those things are kind of just helped me to form the mantra. I know I no longer dim my light,
Yeah.
but I know for sure that when you shine, it makes people feel.
Wow.
So just help them to shine with you.
Bro, I love that. I love that. So we get ready to wrap up. I got like two questions because I
hmm
want to honor your time. First question, Mount Rushmore
hmm
of R&B singers. You can only pick four.
Okay.
Like if you could pick your Mount Rushmore, four R&B singers right now, who would they be? Or they could be
Um,
old and new.
I'm going old.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Joe.
yeah.
And Usher. Those
Oh
gonna be my
yeah.
male picks.
Ooh wee.
Joe and Usher.
Yeah.
I have to go with Brandy, and that's bias.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I know Brandy is in a quiet taste, but they call her the vocal Bible because a lot of people
Yeah.
emulate her sound.
Facts.
Who is another? I wouldn't say Whitney. Whitney was more like a pop star. Like
Yeah.
she was like, who's an R&B giant? And I don't know, bro. Another female. Who's another? I'll say Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
I'll say Mary J. Blige.
Word.
And she not everybody, she ain't the best singer.
What you right, hey, she got some hits,
But
boy.
let me tell you something. Can't
Yeah.
nobody kick like her.
Bro, before we go, this whole podcast is built around light going into darkness.
hmm
So the way I would love for this to like close it out, how would you encourage a person um that it seems dark around them and they are afraid to let their light shine?
Yeah.
Like how would you like encourage them to like shine that light?
I would say don't wait for the feeling
Mm,
until you feel complete, until you feel um, comfortable.
yeah.
Um, do it like I'm doing. Do it scared.
Wow.
Do it without the approval of someone. Do it while they talk about you.
Mm,
Because you could be in a room with people who talk about you and then go on the stage to The Voice and everybody is
wow.
like, you're cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I would say more importantly, watch the company that we keep.
Mm,
I realized that you can only be around people who bring you down for so
mm,
long without being brought down.
yeah.
Like you not that you need people to gas you up, but you need people to support you. You
Right.
need people to
100%.
say that you're great at what you do
Mm,
and I believe in you, and
yeah.
that's important. So
Mm,
I would, if your people are not doing that, they might not be your people.
wow.
Like even our friendship,
Yeah.
every time
Yeah.
I'll be like, bro, what's the real? And we would tell each other the truth.
Facts.
And most of the time
Facts.
we would encourage each other
Yeah.
about what we're called to do and what we're
Mm,
doing. So you need people like that. But do it scared.
yeah.
And I'm talking about trembling,
Mm,
shaking,
yeah.
unsure. Well, as long as you're making a step toward being yourself and figuring that out, and
Mm,
don't have so much pressure on defining it. I'm compartmentalizing the way that I think sometimes,
mm,
and I defined who I was, and I didn't know how to be outside of what my definition
yeah.
was. But now I'm just like to be 30 and experimenting and seeing what I really like is crazy.
Wow.
But that's what I'm doing, and I can
Yeah.
really check off. Oh, nah, I don't really rock with that.
Mm,
Nah, that's what I want to do. But do it scared.
facts. So if people want to find Jan Dan, where can they find music, social media pages,
Yeah.
all that good stuff?
So everything is JANDAN.
Yeah.
I am JANDAN is my social media
Mm,
across the board. If you go to the Voice app,
yeah.
go to the Voice app. They have all my socials on there. They have a quick little bio on me, so it's a really easy way. And my music is in my bio. I just released a self-titled
Yes,
album called
sir.
JANDAN.
Yes, sir.
It's my first, it's my debut.
Wow.
And I have so much more music to come.
Mm,
So, stay tuned and get that app. Like, in case I make it far,
yeah.
y'all gonna need to vote for your boy.
Yes, sir. Well, man, we want to thank you, JANDAN, for pulling up to the city. Listen, family, thank y'all again for tuning in to Build the City, the podcast. Go shine your light in the midst of darkness. I'm out.